have some trouble sometimes getting it because of the lack of him getting his hip over. So it goes without saying that I'm going to work a lot over the years at getting him better to back and back circles. Still pretty green at that. But we can do it now at least. But when I'm backing my circles, he's not pushing on my hand, and there's more weight on the hind end. So it's another gait to work on while his weight's on his hind end, getting control of the hind quarters. Well, and I'm not just going to do that, but as I go forward and get him better and better about my leg, I don't always want to have to bend him way over here, because then sometimes as his shoulder's stepping out, his hind never really get ahead. So I want him to reach that hind a little more and then walk on. Sometimes we'll have trouble with the leads because they're leaning in, or because we've pulled the hindquarters rather than driving the hindquarters. And if we've been pulling the hindquarters, the shoulder may fall in there. Well, if the shoulder, even if the hip moves to the right, but the shoulder moves way to the right, I'm not going to get my lead because the shoulder's still ahead. I need to get those hind feet ahead of the shoulder. I need them to the inside of that line. So if I go to come in, say off my, oh shit. Don't say that on Facebook or on thing. Can you go get Spirit, someone? So we'll see how this goes. They're going to go catch the horse. Nice to have help. Actually, maybe. If you have to, chase him this way back to the corner towards the round pen, so you can trap him to catch him. So my horse might get a little distracted while they're catching him. Jog if you can. Horse is loose. But it's a good distraction for him. So again, we always adjust to fit the situation. It's not like we do, obviously, a bunch of editing on these videos. I don't really have time, to be honest with you. But I'm trying to get control of that hind end. Again, I want him to soften. I'm working on that soft feel all the time and him tucking his chin rather than him pushing his nose out. Well, if when I reach for him, that was really nice. But if there's an initial brace and I can kind of feel his mouth there, I'm not going to try to hold it. I want him pretty soft there before I try to balance him. And there's a difference when he comes in between me floating him in a release and me releasing and having those slobber straps to the ground. So I want to release, but I want to float, balance him over time. But only if it's like nothing to get there. And through the snaffle bit, and then later the hackamore stages, I'll be working on them carrying themselves properly so they're prepared for that bridle bit one day. And we might just kind of take him up a little bit. A lot of times I like to work on the bad lead first. So when I come through here on my half circle, I'm going to drive these hind so that it's like a skier. I want him kind of leading out there so that when I rise up there, he's ready to lope. But if he prepares in the wrong lead, I'm not going to lope him there. I don't want to perpetuate that bad lead. So I might just do kind of a figure eight. He says the left lead's pretty easy for me. I want to get into my cutting flag. And we'll get him off this left leg, but I don't want him to slow down there. So he engages a little bit, and then I'll try to ride him into the canter. But if he hits that wrong lead, I'm going to stop him with my outside rein in this case. I want to push that hip over. Push that hip over. Good. Maybe do a few stops with this left rein. I don't want to just go, want him off my leg there. Look out, Lena. Want him off my leg. So if I have to use a little bit of crop, and we'll offer him to lope. There, we got our right lead. Good. We'll let him come back down to the trot. But I want him soft. Good. Well, I don't want to completely ignore the left lead. So we'll tip him up into the left lead, but that's pretty easy for him. Check on my... Catch him? Did you get him? Did you get the horse? Okay, thank you. There, see, he picked up the wrong lead. So I'm going to stop him on my left rein and get this hip over. I want this hip over. And it doesn't take him too long of picking up that wrong lead to kind of build on it. So I don't want to lope very far in that wrong lead and reward him. Good. We'll drop him down to the trot. Do our half circle again. But I might not lope him since he's better on the left lead. I like to maybe do 2 to 1, but at least if I start on that right lead, then I know I get a couple extra, because I'll try to finish on that right lead on a good note. Oh, that was pretty easy. Come on, a little more log on the fire. Good. And we'll work on him softening and loping. Trying to keep my hat on here. I might just get rid of it here. Makes me ride in really poor posture. Let me just hang it on the fence here. Palm leaf kind of stretched out after I got a haircut. It was stretched out from long hair. Good. Job. He was good about the hat. If he had got worried about the hat, we'd abandon the hat. But I like to have these kind of cones pretty close here, and he can learn to go through them. He gets kind of worried sometimes out on the trail about stuff, kind of down by his feet. So the cones, not a big deal here, just like a bush or something. But if he kicks them over here, it's not going to hurt much there. We'll kind of walk some tight circles around him. Itty bitty neck. Want him to stay between my reins there. Good. And switch the other way. Good. See if he can circle around this edge one. Don't knock it over. Just keep those feet moving. There. I don't want him to kind of get stuck there. It's okay if he knocks it over again. Now, if he starts wading way out here, my hand's going to open because I want to stay by the cones. So those cones kind of, right there's my cone I want to stay by, so I'm not going to leave my cone. I want him to follow a feel there. He doesn't see, he's way out here away from the cone. So I wouldn't go with him. I don't care that he's not perfectly round there. I want him to stay by that cone till he can kind of get round around that cone there and not have to step way out away from it. If I pull too hard, there he wants to change directions. Right. Come on through the cones. Look out, Lena. Come on through the cones. We change it. Lena, look out. Good. Give him a little job to do around these cones here. Come through them. There you go. And then on back. So it's kind of by that gate he wants to fade out, I'm noticing. in one little area. He had to bend a little. But we'd check out to make sure he still has life. If I think about kind of trotting and jog with my body, I'd like for him to jog. Good. And I'm going to exaggerate it, and we'll just see how he makes it. And I'm trying to feel what happens before what happens. But I'll lope, but see, he's going to prepare for the wrong lead. So I don't want to perpetuate that any. Do our circle, figure 8. So you got to feel. Try to feel. There, he got off my leg that time. Wrong lead. But I don't want him running through my hand. So we'll go back until he gets soft. So when he pushes, he goes into his own barrier there. When I release, he gets stuck, so I fix again. I'd like him to back, there we go, lightly there. So I don't want to just say, hey, get back, and then release and let him finish stuck. I want him to be light there when I quit. He's not finding it, so I'm going to circle left and move his hip over there. Circle left. So, there, he's better prepared. Whoop, he's losing it. There, he found it. Good. I'm going to let him go a little ways here this time. It's a little fast. So we'll just travel on. There, he started to collect up a little bit. Don't want to stop yet. You can keep going, kind of clear the cobwebs out. Now he's a little fast again. So if he gets too fast here, I might circle a little bit. And make that circle a little smaller until he has to collect up a little more naturally. But I don't want him to fall over there. There, he started to collect up a little more. And I'll let him slow down. Good. He got soft there in the stop, but he didn't get soft to back up. He stuck his nose out in his hands. In my hands, not his hands. He doesn't have any big hands. And we'll, as he kind of got to loping there, saddle's pretty loose. We didn't do much groundwork on him. So we forgot to cinch up there. I don't like kind of when it's not the best of situations when the saddle goes under him. I know there's a whole thought to people doing down under horsemanship, but even if you're into it, that's not the kind of down under horsemanship I'm into. So, alright, got soft. But I don't want him to get stuck when he gets soft. Alright, keep some life flowing in those feet, but don't root out through my hands. There's still a barrier there. So I gotta be firm. I can't be dainty here. I want him to stay behind this barrier. And I'm just setting it up. He releases to himself, but then he goes to push out, trying to push me, see? I may have to get my feet out in front of me there a little more until he stays behind that barrier. There. It's like balancing a stick. As long as he's trying to kind of fall over, he's not really trying to fall, but a stick would be falling over. I'm just going to keep guiding it till it stays balanced. And then I don't try to hold it balanced for too long there. There, he forgot to rock back. So I'll re-rock him back. I want him to stay back into that turn. Stay back into that turn. Good. And then come on back off my hand. And balance off my hands. Don't root your hands out. His hands out, the same thing. Don't root your nose out. to push his shoulder off to his left here. Might counterflex a little, like a leg yield, but I want his shoulder moving because he just shoved his shoulder as he moved his hip. There's the hip, but then the shoulder wants to fall with it. So I'm going to counterflex. I'm going to go till he gets soft. There. I want him to move that shoulder over. We can leg yield. Good, pretty even. I might finish with the shoulder leading a little bit, and then shift right, just a step or two there. So one day, when we have a little more mobility in those hind end, we'll just do haunches in and canter off. But for now, we'll try to use that half circle a little bit to prepare. And again, it kind of depends on how long you have. It's like left lead's really easy for me there. Doesn't quite feel it off my seat, but he starts trying off my seat. Good, we'll drop to the trot. I want him soft. I'm going to push that shoulder over and out in the right lead. Good. Stop him with one rein. Good. And we'll take off in the left lead. He missed my seat, so I'll come in with my leg a little. We'll go a little ways. It's a lot more collected up and comfortable in this lead. And there's the spot where those hindquarters aren't breaking loose. Good. There, that's better. Push his hip over. Good. And canter off. That was a lot better. Go a little ways. And again, his hip's pretty good on this side, see? And he finds that stop pretty quick. Little brace with the shoulder, so I maybe could have come in with my leg a little more. But again, I'd do a few more. It's a little early. But I'll use a little more leg next time so that he doesn't brace that shoulder quite so much. But again, there's a difference. I don't want to make it so hard that he gets hard. I don't want to make it so difficult he gets hard either. But for sure, if you make it too hard, they're going to get hard. So I'll kill that. I don't want to kill that try. So there's their sticky side again. Step over. There the hip's coming. We'll push that hip over. Good. Good. Now I don't want to go too far. He's not rushing too much. We'll come down pretty nice and easy. Now I don't want to rush him to a downward transition there because he was smoother. He gathered up a little more. He stayed a little more collected and wasn't rushing. So if I hurried him to a stop, either with that one rein stop or two reins, then the last thing he might be thinking about is kind of the stop part. So I just want to kind of make it easy there. And again, when he's had some struggles with something, I just as soon not kind of get into it with something else. But I am consistent. If you push your nose out there when I stop, I'm going to hold and wait till you come back. It's just a matter of, I've done it so many times, but I'm not going to let you get away with that. And I don't want to make too big a deal with it because I want him really thinking of that right lead. Little push out. But he shifted back a little. Just check him out. And if I kind of get into these little things, see now we're thinking about not pushing through the nose maybe. So I get to go. I don't have to. But I really would like to find a nice place, something easy to quit on, so that I can get him kind of thinking of that right lead a little. So, and you notice we've kind of been consistent over there, because that's where he's kind of apt to take it right now. So I want to make it easy for him, but gradually we'll get a little more picky over time. I'm kind of pedaling there. I kind of get to talking, thinking about the things I need to teach you guys, and then I want to think about just riding him. So that's why you guys don't get to see all the videos that I ride him. There's been right there a few videos where I just ride. There you go. Good. So we're not going to loaf off this time. I don't mind a little bit of a pattern, so that it kind of triggers them. But if it's always the same, then it's not really riding through feel. But we use a little bit of that pattern to start with, to build on, so that they have the right idea. Like when I was in math class, step over. There. When I was in math class, we stayed kind of on our ones before we went to our twos. And then when we went to our twos, we didn't do twos and ones. We did just our twos times tables. Step over there. Good. We'll check him out. Good. And again. Little rush there. We'll try to balance him. There we go. And we'll let him come down to the trot. 3, 2, little early. But I don't mind that. Means I get to do a little less next time. I'm rushing there. Follow a feel. I don't mind life though. I like the life there. I don't want to discourage him too much. I'll just give him a little somewhere to go with it. Good. Now, if I could, since he kind of wants to push out with his nose the last time, and I would like to find a place for him to quit, to get to thinking about that right lead, I might help him to not push out with his nose, and he step nice with his hip, but just kind of finish in a one-rein stop there. Now if I release and he walks off, again, we're into another project. I release, he can wait. I'll check this left side out again. I don't want to pull, I'm going to draw that rein. Release. Good. And it's understandable that he wanted to walk off, because before I was moving that hip up and then using that engagement to kind of spring, like a spring would leap out there for that engagement. So he gets to thinking that when I move the hind and I release there, we're going to walk off. So it's all within balance. But again, I kind of want him to focus on what he had trouble with today. So if I could not get into teaching new things or into new problems, would be best. And we'll just quit him there and hopefully get him unsaddled before a new project comes up. I thank you for watching. Yeah, any questions you guys might have, put them in the comments. It really, like everybody on YouTube, it does help the algorithms, and again, it's my way to kind of help people that maybe don't have money to get to a clinic, and at least gives them some line of thinking. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch if you made it this far. Blessings to you. Enjoy the journey. Oh yeah, click the like button and say hello to the Italians.